Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So there was an article and it had a sketch of a suspect or a would-be suspect in a girl that was murdered in Texas. And I believe she was in her family's car, her mother, and I believe maybe some other family members, some other siblings. And the way the sketch was drawn appeared to be a Caucasian suspect, but they still were not sure. They were looking and they drew a picture of this man or this would be suspect. Well, it turns out that they caught the suspect. Houston wins praise for handling of girls drive-by shooting. This is out of the Associated Press by Juan A. Lozano, Associated Press, of course. And so here he is right here. So Houston AP activists praised Houston area law enforcement for pursuing a tip that led to the arrest of an African American male in the fatal drive-by shooting of a 7-year-old black girl. A turn in the case suggesting that the attack was not a hate crime, as asserted by the girl's family and some of the community. So some of the people in the girl's family and some of the people in the community thought that it may have been a hate crime because it took them by surprise of how these people were killed, or this girl rather. So Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez announced Sunday that the prosecutor had arrested and charged a 20-year-old Eric Black Jr. with capital murder in the death of Jasmine Barnes on December 30. So Black told investigators that he was the driver of an SUV from which the passenger fired into the vehicle and killed Jasmine. So Gonzalez said that they have identified a second suspect who also is a black person, but declined to say who or if that person is in custody yet. And so I guess there's more to this story. The tip that sent the case in a new direction came from a social activist and a writer, Sean King. Before that tip, police had issued a sketch of a white man based on the description of the shooter provided by the Jasmine's family and had circulated the surveillance video of a red pickup truck that he was apparently driving. So the truck, you could see it, but you really couldn't see who was in the truck driving at the time. So they said, they as in Jasmine's family and the little siblings and whoever else was in the car at the time of the scene, said that it looked or appeared to be a Caucasian male. So the sheriff said that there was in fact a red pickup truck driven by a white man seen at a stoplight. So that actually was not the person before the shooting, but that's probably who they saw when it had happened, after it had happened, or when it happened, or whatever. But the driver did not appear to have been involved. So that was the wrong driver. So they did see a guy that was Caucasian, but he wasn't the shooter. So Gonzalez said it was dark that time that the shooting took place, and it happened rather quickly. And the red truck was probably the last thing that was seen by Jasmine's family when the incident occurred. So King acknowledged on social media his role in providing this tip. So the New York based civil rights activist and former senior justice writer in the New York Daily News highlights racial issues on social media and in his writings. So King's website says that he currently uses his platform as a columnist for the Intercept and writer for Harvard Law School's Fair Punishment Project to unearth the truth beyond local media. So a $100,000 reward raised in part by King was offered for information in Jasmine Barnes' case. So Derek Muhammad, an organizer of the rally on Saturday in Houston to demand justice for Jasmine, commented or commended Gonzalez for working with the community to collect the evidence leading to the arrest of this suspect. So we are still heartbroken at the thought of the 7-year-old innocent child losing her life in such a violent way. So Muhammad said in a statement, we are no less heartbroken that those persons currently charged with the homicide are black, not white. So Gonzalez cautioned the authorities were still investigating, but said at this point it does not appear that it was related to a race hate crime, of course. So Chris Sevilla, Jasmine's father, said that in a brief telephone interview that he was feeling a bit of relief right now after that arrest, and probably too knowing that it was not a hate crime, because that would even be scarier to be in an environment where people could just shoot you and then drive off and it's based on your skin color and there's no other motive but that. So that's really scary. It's sad what happened and now they know who the shooter is. And now the question is, well, why? Why did it happen? And we were asking that even before. Why did it happen? So Gonzalez said that the shooting appears to have been a case of mistaken identity. That's why those innocent people were gunned down. That innocent child was gunned down of a mistaken identity. Can you believe that? So the killers thought that the vehicle was someone else's that they had seen earlier that night. So think about it. Okay, it goes from where they had a sketch and they thought it was somebody that was white and they thought it was a hate crime. And that's kind of scary because any black person can be afraid thinking that somebody's going to kill them because of their skin color. But then it's not over yet. They find the suspect and they find out that this person's African American. And then they find out this child, 7 years old, was killed by mistaken identity. That can happen to anybody. It's not limited to skin color. So happens that because they were in that vehicle, he thought those were the people that they were looking for, and they shot through the car and killed that little girl. So that could happen to anybody. That is just as scary, maybe even scarier. So the killers thought that the vehicle was someone else's that they had seen earlier that night. So prosecutors did not say why the killers opened fire. Can you imagine that? How many people drive every day and they go down a dark street? Is somebody mistaken you and thought you was somebody else that they wanted to take out? And that could be the end of your life that evening. That's really sad. So court records did not list an attorney for a black who was arrested. Okay, so that's the suspect's part of his name. So Saturday afternoon during a traffic stop, prosecutors said that the 9mm handgun they believe was used in this shooting had been recovered from Black's home. So Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, a black Democrat who represents parts of the Houston area, said that the community came together to help solve this case, which is good. Now, this is really good when people come together and they help one another to solve issues like this, to get to the bottom of it and to get to the very truth of what happened. So Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, a black Democrat, who represents the Houston area, said that the community came together to help solve this case. So not only the cops should be commended, but the community in Houston that came together to solve the case should be commended as well. Don't you think? So it's wonderful to have a sheriff who's willing to engage in a dialogue about violence and about hate as well, about guns. And we have that along with the police chief, the mayor of our city, Lee said. So James Dixon, a prominent pastor in Houston, also thanked Gonzalez for working around the clock in the investigation as well. So we are blessed, as he says in his statement, in this city to have a kind of collegial relationship between pastors and law enforcement and elected officials where we all really work together. And so, isn't that what communities need? They need people who are pillars of the community, or people who are organizers in the community, like people who really care, to come together to solve issues and to help one another. And we don't have enough of that. And that's probably the reason why things are like they are. But this is a good example as to what communities should do, even the smaller communities, when they feel that there's no one else to turn to, is come together. So it goes on to say that we cry together, we pray together, and we serve together, and we sacrifice together in moments like these. We come together in order to mend and heal broken hearts, Dixon said. Follow Juan A. Lozano on Twitter at www.twitter.com slash Juan Lozano 70. It's funny. Anyway, there are a few reactions. Now, some people were angry because they felt like that this black family or these people wanted to pin it on a white person. And so, how many times have there been incidents that have happened and it's happened, or it may not even have happened and it's happened to white people and it's been pinned on black people? So, this right here, you guys, they actually had a legitimate excuse for sketching the people's sketch that they had, the face, because there actually was a white person during that time that incident happened. They did see a red pickup truck, so it does say that, and it does say they did see a white man, but he just so happened not to be the one that they were looking for. So unfortunately, it was someone else, and the girl was killed, unfortunately, because of a mistaken identity issue. That's really sad. And so what's scary about this whole story is that this could have happened to anybody could have drove along there. If they had the car that they thought that that person they thought was driving, that they didn't like, anybody would have got gunned down. So this is really very scary. And so this could happen at any time to anyone. And so these are other types of killings that are senseless. And so these are the type of things that people, I don't think they think about, that, no day is promised to you. You could be just enjoying your life or just going on like normal. And because somebody assumed that you look like somebody that they're after, they can end your life just like that because of what? A mistaken identity. So what are your thoughts and feedback and comments on this? It's very scary. It's good that they found the suspect. It's good that they got to the bottom of this story. And it's good. A lot of good things came out of it, where the community came together and they worked together as a family, as one big family, one family community unit. But what makes this whole thing really scary and eerie is that this could have easily been any one of us, believe it or not, if we were in that area, in that car at that time, at the scene of that incident. So that should be something to think about. Anyway, I'm going to let this video go. What do you think about that? I think it's really sad because I wanted to additionally add there's been a lot of shootings, a lot of killings lately, a lot of family killings that I've noticed, a lot of innocent people that are dying from senseless gun violence, and it's got to end. It really has to. It's just really sad. Anyway, I'm going to let this video go. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for listening. Be safe out there.